Hello and welcome to Call to Homeschool episode number 305, Living My Dream. Friends, how are in the world are you doing? I'm doing great. It is spring this week, and spring is such a lovely season, right? We got flowers, we got birds, we got animals, things start growing again. It's lovely. Utah will play a lot of tricks with us now, where we'll think it's spring, but then we'll get a bunch of snow and then it'll get warm again. Sometimes you can have every season in one day. It's glorious, but it's getting warmer, so I will take it. So this podcast episode is called Living My Dream because, friends, today that is what I'm currently doing. I've had a dream to travel with my kids, husband, family, all these things. And right now, when this episode airs, I've obviously recorded it a little bit before. Right now, I am on my living my dream with my daughter Bella, the one who just got home from her mission, and we are traveling. Now, this dream did not happen overnight, and it didn't happen even while my daughter Bella was homeschooling, right? But it is happening now. I know it is so easy to get stuck in the day to day stuff, changing diapers, making meals, cleaning up messes, explaining a math concept over and over. But even as you are in the thick of toddlers, homeschool, messes, all of these things, I want you to remind you to still dream. Some of my dreams I was able to do with little kids, like running marathons. I also have had the dream of traveling, and I figured out how to do that with lots of littles. We did lots of road trips, camping, and adventuring in our own backyards. And I mean that like the mountains in our backyards, right? Even in our actual yard. And now we're getting to a place where we can start to travel internationally. And I can't always take all my kids with me. And honestly, most of my boys said they wouldn't want to do my trips that I do museums with anyway. So it works. But I keep that dream going, that dream of traveling, that dream of meeting people, experiencing things, and having this amazing dream. And it's so fun because even as we were getting ready for this trip, that I made it part of school with the little boys where we were studying these countries and we were learning folk tales about these countries. And I was reading books about all these countries and just studying it and just learning and loving all these people. And it is so exciting to me that I'm now experiencing it and get to go to these places that I've read about or seen pictures and actually experience it. And so I've had this big dream and now it is happening. So I want you to keep dreaming. Even though your babies might be little, even though things feel chaotic, try and take some time of what is something that speaks to your soul. What is this desire? I told my husband, I even laughed about this the other day. Like, I don't know why I have this desire to run. I don't know why I have this desire to do endurance events, but I do, and it calls me, and traveling, that stuff calls me, and I don't know why, but I love that I'm out there experiencing it. I'm out there trying it, and it speaks to me. So what is something that speaks to your soul? What calls you? When you can answer those questions, then you can start working backwards and start making a plan of how in the world are you going to get there. What are the small and simple things you can do to start making progress? So, obviously, with marathons, it wasn't the first day that I thought, hey, that'd be cool to become a runner, that I went out and ran a marathon the next day. It was quite the opposite, right? My sister was running marathons. She looked amazing. She was really fast. I found it very inspiring. And I thought, I think I'd like to try that. So I don't even know what kind of shoes I had or anything. And I would try to go running. I had two little boys at this time, and my husband was working, going to school. And I would pay a little neighbor girl to come over in the afternoons for just like an hour or something, and I would go running. And it's so funny now because now I'm all about the gear and like the right pants, the right bra, the right socks, everything. And back then it was like whatever I had is what I would run in and just go for it. And my little sister and I were even laughing about when my very first half marathon, and I think hers as well, we didn't even really understand shoes and that some shoes are made for running and some shoes aren't. So I went to a store like Famous Footwear, and I grabbed a pair of Nikes because I'm like, that's a big brand. I bet that's a good one. And my first half marathon, I actually ended with a shoe full of blood because it was like rubbing my feet completely raw. Right. So like I had this desire to do it, and it wasn't day one that I figured it out and that everything worked perfectly. I've been running now for over 20 years, and I've learned a lot from this experience, but it started with this little desire, with this little dream in my heart of like, maybe I'd like to run, and I get better and better. And my little sister and I are currently training for a marathon, and we know what we're doing now, right? And it's so fun that like that little dream that was planted in our hearts so many years ago, that we've been able to foster and learn from it and grow from it. So I was able to figure out how to do it with babies. My husband and I would make a plan where, like I said, when they were just the two little boys, a neighbor girl would come over. And then as the kids got older, I actually just started waking up earlier, and I would just go in the morning time, or I'd like nurse the baby and then hurry and go for a run, and just always would try to figure out a way. So I've also done that with traveling, of small things I could do. So one of the things I quit doing was Christmas presents, which took the funds that we would have spent for Christmas to go towards traveling. And our Christmas present ended up being a destination. It's been awesome. We've done some really fun things. Mount Rushmore, the Redwoods. We've been to Hawaii, Puerto Rico, and this year we're headed to the Grand Canyon. It's really great. So think of your dream and don't get stuck in why it won't work, right? So if I'm like, oh, I want to do these Christmas trips and I want to take my children to the Amazon jungle, I don't have the budget for that. That's 9 people to pay for, and that is not in my budget, right? But if I think, okay, I want to travel, how could I make it work? And maybe that is hitting all the national parks in the state I'm in, maybe hitting one of the national parks in the state I'm in. Is there just something small and simple I can do to start getting down this road with this dream that I have in my heart? But playing with, so not getting stuck in why it won't work, but playing with how could I make this work? Like I said, when we travel, we don't spend a lot of money, we don't do Christmas presents. So the money we would have done Christmas presents just goes to travel. But we know when we're traveling that we're just usually getting store food from our grocery stores, right? Just go grocery shopping, try to make as much food as we can wherever we're staying. And we usually only eat out once or twice. If we do go places, sometimes we can get away with not doing anything that costs money. The last time we went to Hawaii, we actually just did wild hikes that my husband would find. He's the king of the Johnny T adventures, where we're swinging on rope swings and jumping in rivers, right? So we didn't do that, but we have done, if we do something that costs money, it's usually just one excursion. We shove everybody in one hotel room, or if we get an Airbnb, we just shove everybody in, right, to save monies. So we're always trying to think of ways that it can work instead of ways that it won't work. And I want you to do the same. And I want you to do this for a couple of reasons, because you may be thinking, Meg, what in the world does this have to do with homeschool? And so I'm going to tell you a couple of reasons of why I want you to keep dreaming, even though you are in the middle of homeschool. Maybe you're the beginning, maybe you're the end, but you're still homeschooling. So here are some of the reasons why I want you to do that. And the first one is it's good for you. It's good for you to go after a goal. It pushes you and it helps you to grow, right? I mean, even if right now the dream is to create a peaceful homeschool and you're like, that is a dream I have right now, Meg. Awesome. It will push you, because if you want a peaceful homeschool, that may mean that you may need to learn how to be calm and actually learn how to become patient. And that is going to push you more than you thought. Physical goals for me obviously push me physically very hard, but it becomes that mindset piece of like, this is hard. I just want to lie down on the road. I'm done. I give up, right? But instead, it pushes me out of my comfort zone, and I had had so much growth in homeschooling, in speaking, and creating a business, right? Different things that I've done. It pushes me. Even this trip I'm on with my daughter is pushing me because I have to be the adult. And I remember the first time Bella and I went on a trip together, and I flew as the adult. And so I didn't fly very often as a kid, maybe once or twice, right? And then when we were married, only a few times. And so when Bella and I went somewhere and I had to be the adult and rent a car, I was like, oh my gosh. And it was so scary, and it pushed me so much out of my comfort zone. And so now with this trip, once again, I'm the adult. Last time when Tess and I went on a trip to Europe a couple years ago, we met my brother there. So he got to be the adult. All I had to do was get us to Berlin, and then he took care of everything else. So, like, totally pushing me out of my comfort zone and so much growth. So that's number one. It's good for you to go after your goal. It pushes you. And when you push yourself, you grow. Number two, it inspires your kids and shows them what is possible, and also shows them how to go after their own dreams, right? It's so crazy to me. Just even simple things. After I did one of my Ironmans, I can't remember which one it was, but my kids were like, "Oh, I got to do a triathlon." And so three of my kids started training for a triathlon. And it was crazy because I'm like, can I help you with fueling? Can I help you with like how to transition from the different events? Can I help you with this? And they were really receptive because they're like, my mom knows her stuff. She knows what she's talking about. They've done 5Ks, right? I'm just using myself as example. I'm not even throwing in dad right now, but he's inspiring too. So just like it really inspires them to try new things, to do like going after their own dreams. So maybe their dream isn't travel, but their dream is to write something. My oldest wrote a book, right? So just that dreaming of what's possible and being that example for our kids of like doing hard things, putting yourself out there, and knowing you might get rejected and doing it anyway, right? So just that inspiring your kids and actually showing them how by that example. And this is the third one. And the reason why I'm talking about this on a homeschool podcast is because even though you are a wife and a mother, sometimes you can lose yourself in those roles and think that that's all you are, right? And don't get me wrong, I love being a wife and a mother. It is my greatest joy and I absolutely love it. But I'm also a human and my babies are growing up. I have four adult kids. My teenagers are becoming much more independent. And even my cute youngest guy, I do get him around the house quite a bit, but a lot of his big siblings will take him, and I'm finding myself alone more and more. And if you don't have goals and dreams and ambitions, and your whole focus has been your children, and then your children grow up, you are going to feel pretty empty. And not only will you feel empty, I see too often that people feel resentment towards their kids. Like, I sacrificed everything. I gave everything up for you and now like I'm not getting anything in return. And obviously I've made sacrifices and my homeschool's been a priority and I've said no to lunches with friends or I've said no to little trips and whatnot. But I've always had those goals and those dreams and gone after things so that now that when my babies are leaving, I can even go bigger on them. I've never trained this much with a marathon before. Not at the time, but like this was being so intentional. Like I have so many years of experience, and I not only know how to do a good training plan, but I can get good shoes now. I go to a physical therapist all the time. He's amazing. If you are in Utah County, hit me up because I will give you his number, right? Like I can just totally go all in on it. And with traveling, right, that I'm going to do a bigger trip with my daughter versus just something that's a couple hours away because I have had these dreams and these goals and I'm going after them and I'm getting them more and more and more. And it's amazing. And you're getting this amazing life that's also inspiring to your kids, right? That like, hey, yeah, I am a wife and a mother first. And all the other stuff is just an added bonus. But to have that inspiring my kids that like you are a human too, and your goals and your dreams matter, and you can go after all the things that you want and create this amazing, wonderful life as well. And so, friends, today I just want to leave you with to remember to dream big. So, if anything today, go and start praying, meditating, and asking the questions of what is something that speaks to your soul, and then start working backwards from there. Friends, have an amazing week. If you want to see some of our adventures, make sure you're checking me out on Instagram, coachmcthomas.com, and you'll see some of our wild adventures with my daughter and me on our trip. So have an amazing week, and I'll talk to you next time.